Hello and welcome to the Baybayin project program plan. I am Alethea Dane Rekla, and first of all, I'd like to begin with the table of contents. So first, we'll introduce the museum. Second, I'll introduce the program plan. Third, we'll dive into the goals and objectives for this program. Following that, we'll go into the detailed program description. And following that, we'll go into the timeline. And lastly are the resources that I have used and was inspired from. So, for the introduction of the location, this is the National Museum of the Philippines, and the National Museum of the Philippines is an umbrella government organization that oversees several national museums all over the Philippines, including ethnographic, anthropological, archaeological, and visual arts collections. Their existence is anchored deep on the national identity of the Filipino people and how much of that must be developed and enhanced while imbibing the spirit of nationalism and the strong commitment in the protection and dissemination of its legacy. So the National Museum of the Philippines is envisioned as the premier institution and repository of the Filipino heritage and prides itself as an exciting, informative, and enjoyable place to visit. This place hopes to inspire people to learn from our traditions so as to help shape a better future. Their mission and vision is to unify the Filipino people in a deep sense of pride in their common identity, cultural heritage, and natural patrimony, and imbibed with the spirit of nationalism and a strong commitment to the protection and dissemination of legacy through the acquisition, documentation, preservation, the exhibiting and fostering of scholarly study and appreciation of works of art, specimens, cultural and historical artifacts. So for the program background, Baybayin is a Philippine script. The script is an abugida belonging to the family of the Brahmic scripts. Geographically, it was widely used in Luzon and other parts of the Philippines prior to and during the 16th and 17th centuries, before being replaced by the Latin alphabet during the period of Spanish colonization. Baybayin was and is still being used by most coastal groups since the 16th century, and it's often inscribed on leaves using pigments and are written mostly on bamboo strips or leaves or cloths made from, I believe it's a fiber that's specially found in the Philippines. It's very strong. I believe it's called abaca, and it's a native plant found in the Philippines. And it's also, I believe it's called Manila hemp, though it's actually not related to actual hemp itself. We'll move on to objectives. So, for the main objective of this program is the revitalization and the use of revitalizing the use of the ancient writing script of the pre-colonial Filipino people, which is called Baybayin within the Philippines and also in Canada. This program also hopes to feature and promote awareness of the early Filipinos pre-colonial writing systems and scripts through a showcase and a learning opportunity to read and write in Baybayin. For the SMART objectives, this program seeks to establish Baybayin as an official writing script in the Philippines by 5 years. The second one is to increase funding for Baybayin scholars and educators in the Philippines in the next 3 years. And finally, the final SMART objectives for this program is to increase the collections of Baybayin records in museums and other institutions in the Philippines in the next 10 years. So for the detailed program description, after confirming the program goals and priorities, the next step of this program will be to make sure that the National Museum of the Philippines Cebu branch has the approval in the municipal government to have assistance from the municipal staff to create groups or form a committee for the program. The Cebu branch does not currently have a plan that is similar to this one, and despite having the cultural resources available to Filipino citizens, the committee that is about to be formed will have to convene with various municipal leaders and staff to discuss an overall vision and strategic direction through consultations. So I wanted to discuss the community's role in the program and other responsibilities as well. So to better understand the logistics and the exact resources and expenses needed for this program, I believe that we'll be holding a meeting with possible sponsors and patrons, as well as other funders that might be interested, along with the municipal staff as mentioned before, and the program committee that is about to be formed as this project starts, as well as other cultural organizations, like academic and community leaders or residents that would be outside the businesses, outside of the internal staff that would be managing this program. After the plan's visions, roles, and partnerships, the strategies and actions needed for a cultural administration and governance model, we would probably need an outline of a monitoring and evaluation plan, and evaluation questionnaire will be drafted. That is going to be used after the program is implemented for, I believe, a year. The next step would be to have municipal approval. So this is to ensure that this part of Filipino culture will be integrated within the daily goings of the Filipino people, and steps will be made to ensure that this part of the culture is integrated into most, if not all, facets of local planning and decision making. For example, official government plans, land use, economic development strategies, tourism strategies, and integrated community sustainability plans, by adopting and ensuring that the cultural mapping is being updated on an ongoing basis. This program, again, is a place-based educational plan that seeks to revitalize the use of the ancient writing script of the pre-colonial Filipino people Baybayin within the Philippines, and hopefully in the near future in Canada as well. We'll move on to the timeline. And so this will officially begin in the last quarter of 2024, where I will be free from academic responsibilities, hopefully, and in that last quarter of 2024 will mark the beginning of this program. The venue will be contacted, Filipino scholars and cultural educators will be contacted as well, and we will be sending letters and emails or to the municipal government for consultation in terms of this program. Other notes with that is that I will be contacting personal contacts of mine that are involved in the cultural planning sector of the Cebu province, and I do believe that I have a couple of people interested in this program that are willing to sacrifice their own time to help me with this program to make it a reality. And after these sets of emails and also calls and letter writings, we'll move on to the first quarter of 2025, where we will hopefully have the program committee established. With this, I believe I would have to have people within my personal and professional connections that I've made throughout my year in McEwen, and we'll begin the search for sponsors and the makings of the advertisement graphics or posters for interested volunteers or paid staff will be drafted and await review for the program committee. And when that design is finally approved, we will start to roll them out in also this time, the first quarter of 2025. And I believe we'll move on to the second and third quarter, where we will be applying for government grants that is available and that we are eligible for. I believe that there is not much Philippine grants that is available for planning by a university student, but I can send this to a contact of mine and have them review this. And we will also begin assessment of available cultural resources, and then the training and paid staff or volunteers will begin for the actual reading and writing of Baybayin. So in the last quarter of 2025, we will roll out with the advertisement with posters and banners, and also with the help of a online manager, project manager, online marketer. The online advertisements will also begin through social media, especially on Facebook, because Facebook is very popular in the Philippines. And we will also be contacting educational institutions by the planning committee to prepare for the implementation of the program. And I suppose the entirety of 2026 will be dedicated for just the implementation of the program, the Baybayin project. And lastly, the first quarter of 2027 will be the assessment and evaluation by the program committee will begin. There is a evaluation form in my Google folder that will be used for this, and in the first quarter of 2027 there will be meetings to discuss the future of the program, and that will also include discussions with the municipal government to see if this program will last for more than a year, and if this is going to be a ongoing kind of thing for museums. And I believe, yes, we'll move on to the financial aspect, and for this one I wanted to dive into the expenses. So estimated and research expenses for the program are as follows. The staff wages and other material prices are based on the Philippine currency and are then converted to Canadian currency. I have the screenshots of the little research I've done for the writing and paper supplies and how much it would cost. But the wages for the staff is based on the average the average monthly salary for a Filipino worker, and that totals to about 3,960 Canadian dollars for a total of 10 staff within the museum. and then also I believe 2,790 Canadian dollars for the staff outside of the museum. And this, I believe, is a total of 10 people, and this is a total of about 8 or 6. These are prices in Filipino currency converted to Filipino prices converted to Canadian. And I believe that the banners and posters are counted on 10, I believe. 10 banners, 10 posters that are about 26 by 33 inches size wise, and those are 10 posters. And for the writing supplies, these are just using the basic pens and paper pads that will be available to guests that are interested, and for gratuities for the volunteers will cost up around 874 Canadian dollars and 20 cents based on the items that are available in the museum gift shop. And for the food and drinks, these are all snacks and local snacks and local drinks that are made available for both staff, volunteers, and also guests. We'll move on to the non-financial resource inventory, the museum resources. So managerial costs and human resources are included in the program expenses and are based on the average monthly salary an average Filipino worker receives for the 2022 Philippine fiscal year. And the next one is that I wanted to point out that the National Museum of the Philippines are free to all visitors, including foreign tourists, and resources that involves this program will be included in this budget. These are the resources that I used, and some of these are resources that inspired me. And wanted to mention that appendices and other files are located in the Google Drive folder provided. And yes, thank you very much. This is Lethea Dane Rekla signing off.